boys and girls, for this project you will need scissors, glue, crayons, a full piece of construction paper, a piece of white paper, 3 scraps of construction paper, it doesn't matter what color, and a small piece of black construction paper. Here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to fold our construction paper in half. I'm going to go to the open side, not the folded side, but the open side. I'm going to cut a line that is diagonal. That means it's slanty. Then we're going to cut straight across. Oops, my scissors. There we go. This will give us the shape of our cat's head. Next, we're going to need our crayons, or markers if you want to use them. We're going to add lines and patterns inside of our cat's face, just like the cats that Laurel Burch creates. As you add in lines, I want you to think about all the different kinds of lines from the book that we read. Lines that wiggle. Maybe I'll have lines that loop. And I'm going to add lines all the way across my cat's face. You see how I'm holding my paper with one hand while I write with the other? I do that so that my paper doesn't try to move around while I'm working on it. That one might be too reddish to show up. I'll try this one instead. I love how that green is showing up. I might have to use that one again somewhere. I have an idea. Maybe I can have a line that's made out of dots. All right, once we have our cat's face all filled with beautiful lines and designs, just like Laurel Burch, we need to create some more facial features. A facial feature is like a certain specific part of your face, like your eyes. Your eyes are a facial feature. Your nose is a facial feature. Your mouth is a facial feature. Our cat's going to need some facial features, or features on its face. We're going to start by creating our cat's muzzle, like where the mouth and nose is going to live. To do this, we're going to think about the shape of a great big egg or oval. Nice and big. I like to draw things before I cut them out because it's easier for me to follow a line than to try to guess at where this shape might be. When we use our scissors, you'll notice that there's a little hole and a big hole. The little hole is for your thumb. Boop. The big hole is for your other fingers. We open, close, that's the way it goes. Please remember, we only cut things like paper or string. We never cut hair or clothing. Let's cut out this great oval. Perfect. All right. Now glue can be a little bit tricky if you've never used it much before. When we use a glue stick, we twist it up just a little bit. That's all we're going to need. If I twist it up all the way, eventually this piece will just fall out. And if it falls out, well then that's not much good. We can't use it that way, so twist it up just a tiny bit. We're going to put glue around the edge of the oval, and then a big nice X in the middle. Then we'll take our oval, flip it over, and stick it right to the bottom of our cat's face. When we use a glue stick, we have to make sure that we press it down after we put it where we want it. Because if we don't press it down, sometimes the glue forgets to stick, and that's no good. Our cat is going to need a nose. So with one of your scraps of construction paper, I want you to fold it in half. Then we're going to cut a diagonal right off of the end. Using a diagonal line, boop. I'm going to open it up. That's going to be my cat's nose, but look, it's too big for my cat's face. That's all right. I have some scissors. I can set my nose where I think it's going to go, and then trim my nose to fit my cat's face. Maybe this nose is a little bit too wide for my cat now that I look at it. We can keep trimming until we like what we see. And if we trim off too much, well, we can just glue it right back on. Oh yeah, that's going to look pretty good. I'm going to put some glue around the edges on the back side of what I'm gluing down. And then I'll put a little bit of glue right down the middle. I'll flip it over and I'll stick it right down, and I'm going to be sure to press it down really well so that way it doesn't forget to stick. Next, let's work on our cat's eyes. Cats have really beautiful eyes. We're going to take our white piece of paper and fold it in half. Then I want you to think about the shape of a football. Well, Miss Lawson, this isn't PE. What are you talking about footballs for? I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. The shape of a football. It's kind of curved on one side and curved on the other. I folded my white piece of paper in half, and I've drawn a football shape. I'm going to keep my paper folded while I cut. When we keep our paper folded while we cut, it'll make it to where we cut two shapes that are exactly the same size and shape. Aha! Those will be the eyes of our cat. But the eyes are not done yet. They look kind of empty and hollow, and that could be a little bit scary. So we need the colorful part of this cat's eyes. The colorful part is called the iris. I'm going to take another scrap of construction paper. I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to put it beside one of my eyes so that I know about how big the shape I need to make needs to be. Then I'm going to draw an oval that's about that size. I'll keep this paper folded while I cut. Remember, thumb goes in the small hole. Sometimes I forget too, but that's all right. Make sure that you put your thumb in the little hole and your fingers in the big hole so that it's easier to cut. And as we cut things that are curved, it's easier to turn the paper than it is to try to turn your scissors while you're cutting. If you turn your scissors while you're cutting, you might accidentally cut your finger. But if we just turn our paper so that the line lines up with the scissors as we cut, it'll be just a tiny bit easier. then if we were to try to turn our scissors while we're cutting, that could get a little bit confusing and maybe even just a little bit dangerous. And we don't want to be dangerous while we're using our scissors. Boop, boop. Oh, that's starting to look pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and stick my irises onto my cat's eyes by putting a little bit of glue on the back, sticking it right down in the middle. That's a pretty good looking eye. I'll do the same thing to this other one. Put a little bit of glue on the back and stick it down right in the middle, but my eyes are still not stuck down to my cat's face yet. I need to deal with that real quick. Look, I had secrets on the back of my white paper because I couldn't find any white paper, but that's okay. I found some paper that was white on at least one side, and I figured that that would work just as well. I'll put some glue on it, and I'll stick it down and press to make sure it doesn't forget to hold on to the page. I'll put some glue on this one. I'll stick it down. And I'll press to make sure that it doesn't forget to hold on to the page. Now, there's only a few steps that are going to be left. We're going to need our black crayon, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so that you can see. Inside of our cat's eyes, we're missing something still. They have a black area in the middle of their eyes, just like we do. That black part that's right in the middle is called the pupil. We're going to draw a pupil for this cat. It's kind of like a long, skinny oval shape. Aha! What I do to one side, I gotta do to the other. If not, somebody might make fun of my cat. Or they might think that he has trouble seeing. Either way, let's do the same thing to the other side. Now, our cat needs a little bit more help with this black crayon. His nose is not finished yet. We can give him nostrils so that he can breathe. We can add an oval on one side and an oval on the other side. Down below, I can draw a small line that goes straight down from the point. I'll connect it to a line that curves down and then up. Well, gee, Miss Lawson, that doesn't quite look right. Let's do the same thing to this other side. A line that curves down and then up. Oh, he's starting to look like a cat now. I'm going to add a couple of little spots for his whiskers. And we still have one piece of construction paper that I said that we would need. This black piece. I want you to go slowly with your cutting. Take your time and cut your black piece of paper into long, thin strips. Now, what do you think that we could use long, thin strips for? Maybe for his tail. But our cat doesn't have a body. It's just a big old cat head. What else could we use long, thin strips for? Maybe for toenails. But again, he doesn't have legs or feet. Let me see. Cats have very special types of hairs that are on their face. Those very special hairs are called whiskers. We're going to give our cat some whiskers. I have 3 whiskers for one side and 3 whiskers for the other. I'm going to use my glue stick. Put a stripe of glue down the back. Figure out where I want this whisker and I'll stick it right down. Oop, I forgot to stick that part down and it forgot to stick. I guess we both forgot things, me and that little piece of paper. But that's all right if you forget things, as long as you go back and remember eventually. All right, I'm going to give him another whisker, and then I'll give him another one on this side, and then I'll do my last 3 and he'll be all done. Oh, I think this whisker's too long, but that's all right. It's still a nice looking cat. Once you get your whiskers stuck down, you're done. This time around, please upload an image of your finished work into Artsonia, our new online art portfolio system. Thanks so much for stopping in and creating with me today. Bye.